The House will come to order. Prayer by the chaplain.
Please pray with me. To the one in whom we belong and who makes us family, the source and divine parent who models how to manage and lead from a posture of wholeness and shalom, may your distinguishable character and your actions infused with justice and mercy be made known through those in your family, all of us. Reveal and bring your way and your order. May it happen as we co-create with you, so this place reflects that wholeness and shalom. Give us what we need for each day. There is enough. Let us not use the necessities for life as a means to gain power over others. May forgiveness be our orientation, flowing openly between us all, trusting that having power and money over one another only leads to bondage. And keep us from scapegoating others to get ahead, or using our power and privilege to keep others down. Let us not use violence to seek peace, but let our trajectory be fixated on your loving kindness. Amen.
The chaplain for today is Pastor Jason Steffenhagen from Peace United Methodist Church in Shoreview, Minnesota. Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk will take the roll.
Yeah,
Members, please take your conversations off of the House floor or into the retiring room or the alcoves. Will the Chief Clerk please call the names of the members who are participating remotely?
Franzen. Franzen.
Repeat that.
Franzen present.
Franzen present. Knutson.
Knutson present.
Knutson present. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski present.
Kozlowski present. Pulowski.
Pulowski present.
Pulowski present.
A quorum is present. The clerk will read the journal of the preceding day.
Oh, wait a minute here. Journal of the House, 93rd Session, 2024, 95th day, St. Paul, Minnesota, Thursday, March 21st, 2024.
Without objection, further reading of the journal will be dispensed with, and the journal will be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. The member from Hennepin, Representative Hornstein, for what purpose do you rise?
Madam Speaker, a privilege of the House.
Please state your privilege of the House.
Members, today, over the weekend, the Jewish community celebrated the holiday of Purim, which we read the book of Esther, and it's been a tradition. We're handing out some explanation of the holiday, so I'll not do that. You can just read about it. But it's a festive holiday, and one of the traditions is to have a cookie-like food called hamantaschen. And so, as we do every year, there's hamantaschen courtesy of the Temple Israel Sisterhood in the retiring room. Please partake, and we appreciate your attention and solidarity.
Reports of standing committees and divisions. There's a copy of this order of business at your desk and online. If there's no objection, the reports will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the reports are adopted. Well, this is second reading? Second reading of House Files.
Second reading of House File number 367.
Second reading.
Second reading House File number 2319.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3182.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3436.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3443.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3448.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3529.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3782.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3830.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3872.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 3989.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4024.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4176.
Second
Second
reading.
reading House File 4276.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4412.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4732.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4772.
Second reading.
Second reading House File 4793.
Second reading.
And second reading House File 4898.
Second reading.
Jeez.
Introduction of House Files. The following House Files have been offered for introduction. Today, the Chief Clerk will report the House Files and give them their first reading.
Introduction of first reading of House Files 4140 through 5174.
First reading, House Files 5140 through 5174. Calendar for the day. The first bill on the calendar for the day is House File 3589. The clerk will report the bill.
House File number 3589, number 1 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to trusts.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Agbaje, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I am presenting House File 3589, which seeks to clarify jurisdiction options in trust cases. The bill allows for 2 options in jurisdiction in cases involving trusts. What this means is when the case starts, you usually have to serve the parties that a claimant has in order to decide whether you move forward just in serving the trust or in serving the people involved in the trust. So when you serve the trust, it's known as in rem jurisdiction, and when you serve each person individually, it's known as in personam. These 2 options should have happened after the legislature modernized the Minnesota Trust Code in 2015, but in 2023, the Minnesota Court of Appeals decided that in certain types of trust cases that there actually was not a choice between both jurisdictions, and that only in personam jurisdiction could be used in certain cases. Since that opinion has caused recent confusion as to which trust cases needed which type of jurisdiction, the outcome is now that claimants are using both, which is costly and time-consuming. So the bill before us clarifies that jurisdiction in trust cases can apply either to a person or to the trust, basically putting that option back like how we originally intended. By clarifying this law, it will cut down on unnecessary pleadings and paper and extra work for district courts. Thank you, and I appreciate members' support.
There are no amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 3589.
Third reading. The member from Anoka, Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Agbaje, for your work on this bill. It's important that we, as part of the legislative branch, we sometimes see things that the judicial branch does where we maybe they get wrong what we intended to do, and it's important then that we fix them. This is a good bill that does that. We did have some other good bills that we tried to bring forward to fix similar problems. I wish we would have heard my bill to fix the Energy Policy Advocates versus Edelson mistake that the Minnesota Supreme Court made. But regardless, this is a good bill. appreciate your work on it, and I urge members to vote yes.
Any further discussion to the bill? Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. Will the clerk please call the names of the members who are voting remotely?
Franson.
Branson votes
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Branson votes yes.
Franson votes aye. Knutson.
Knutson votes aye.
Knutson votes aye. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski votes aye.
Kozlowski votes aye. Pulowski.
Here you go.
Pulowski votes aye.
Pulowski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 123 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. The next bill on the calendar for the day is House File 3925. The clerk will report the bill.
House File number 3925, number 2 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to real property.
I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Feist, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is working. This bill, House File 3925, deals with transfer on death deeds, or TODs. These are a popular way to transfer property outside of the probate process. This bill is designed to protect Minnesotans to address common mistakes that people make when drafting TODs, so that they can still have the legal effect intended. It also reflects in Section 2 collaboration between the Bar Association and the Insurance Federation to address a recent 8th Circuit Court of Appeals case to allow the grantor's property insurance to be extended for 30 days after the death of the grantor, which will provide time for beneficiaries to secure insurance coverage. And I would urge a yes vote.
There are no amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 3925.
Third reading. The member from Carlton, Representative Dotseth.
Representative Feist, I want to thank you for your work on this bill. I just encourage members to vote yes. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. Will the clerk please call the names of the members who are voting remotely?
Franson.
Branson votes aye.
Franson votes aye. Knutson.
Knutson votes aye.
Knutson votes aye. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski votes aye.
Kozlowski votes aye. Pulowski.
Pulowski votes aye.
Pulowski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 123 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. The next bill on the calendar for the day is House File 4457. The clerk will report the bill.
File number 4457, number 3 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to civil law, the first engrossment.
I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Feist, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House File 4457, its purpose is to eliminate unnecessary work by civil legal services and volunteer attorneys, as well as for our courts. Under current law, a litigant must demonstrate indigency by filling out forms to show income eligibility for court fee waivers. Clients represented by Legal Aid and Volunteer Lawyers Network have already demonstrated that they meet their income thresholds, and these clients are categorically eligible for fee waivers. This bill would allow these lawyers to attest that their client qualifies for their services and thus are categorically eligible for court fee waivers. It would save hundreds, if not thousands of hours of paperwork, as well as time by our courts and our judges to determine eligibility. So we all hate paperwork. That is unnecessary, so I urge members to vote yes.
There's an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
Feist moves to amend House File number 4457, the first engrossment, and the amendment is coded A1.
The member from Ramsey, Representative Feist, to your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This corrects a typo, and I urge members to vote yes.
Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. The amendment is adopted. There are no further amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 4457, as amended.
Third reading as amended. Discussion to the bill. The member from Anoka, Representative Scott.
Thank you, Speaker Hortman. And members, this is a good bill. It makes an efficiency in government, which we should all be in favor of all the time. And there's no use working on two sets of paperwork to prove someone's inability to pay. Let's go with one set and be done with that. So please vote yes.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. Will the clerk please call the names of the members who are voting remotely?
Franzen.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mary.
Franzen.
Hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Vote aye.
Franzen votes aye. Knutson.
Knutson votes aye.
Knutson votes aye. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski votes aye.
Kozlowski votes aye. Pawlowski.
Pawlowski votes aye.
Pawlowski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 123 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed as amended and its title agreed to. The next bill on the calendar for the day is House File 4109. The clerk will report the bill.
House File number 4109, number 4 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to judiciary.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Edelson, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. This is a simple bill, but it's an important one. Acronyms in our society are used all the time. Like we think about the SOB, which is the State Office Building. Well, when we passed this important bill a few years ago, the Competency Attainment Board, we did not, so it's called the State Competency Attainment Board. So the acronym for that is SCAB. It's very unfortunate because this is a board that helps people that are dealing with severe mental illness have access to resources in their community. So the bill before you simply strikes state and it puts Minnesota, so it would be the Minnesota Competency Attainment Board, so MCAB or MNCAB. So that is it, Madam Speaker and members. I ask for your support.
There are no amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 4109.
Third reading, discussion to the bill. The member from Stearns, Representative Demuth.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, when we get to that point, I will recommend a yes vote, but I do have to wonder, with all of the important pressing issues that we have in the state of Minnesota, as we've been working on fixes for bills, you know this side of the aisle has declared urgencies on a number of the things that we feel are very important, increasing that penalty on swatting, other things, especially knowing that we need additional funding for emergency medical services across the state. EMS is $122 million short. I have to question why we would be hearing a separate bill brought forward today to change the name of a board when we should be considering some other important things. Again, members, I will recommend a yes vote, but I have to consider or question the importance of something like this brought forward today.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. Will the clerk please call the names of the members who are voting remotely?
Franzen.
Franzen votes aye.
Franzen votes aye. Knutson.
Knutson votes aye.
Knutson votes aye. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski votes aye.
Kozlowski votes aye. Pawlowski.
Pawlowski votes aye.
Pawlowski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 123 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Motions and resolutions. There's copies of the non-controversial motions at the House desk and online. If there is no objection, we will take action on these motions first. Hearing no objection, the motions prevail.
Burkle moves that House Bill number 4127 be recalled from the Committee on Capital Investment and be re-referred to the Committee on Transportation, Finance, and Policy.
Representative Burkle, to your motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House File 4127 is a modification to a prior appropriations bill from 2021. Needs some clarification, some modifying. Talked to both chairs, and they're both good with this motion. Thank you.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails.
Niska moves that the rules of the House be so far suspended so that House Bill number 3926 be recalled from the Committee on Judiciary, Finance, and Civil Law, be given its second and third readings, and be placed upon its final passage.
The member from Anoka, Representative Niska, to your motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is my motion, and I request a roll call.
Representative Niska requests a roll call. Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I'm moving for an urgency because we have an urgent need to restore the consensus in our state in favor of religious freedom. Until last year, everyone agreed that the government should not dictate religious doctrine to faith communities. But the changes to the Minnesota Human Rights Act last year, hopefully inadvertently, changed that. They created a glitch in the religious exemption in our statutes, so it covers only sexual orientation claims, but not gender identity claims, when a new gender identity protected class was added to the statute. Religious communities contribute to the quality of life in our state. They feed the poor, shelter the homeless, care for the sick, counsel those who are hurting, and nurture families who carry on the important burden of raising the next generation. Without them, the state would have far bigger expenses in education and human services, and they contribute billions to our state economy through the people they employ, their expenditures, and the goods they provide to the people they serve. And they're here today, and all they're asking for is the ability to operate according to their mission and values within their own institutions, to be able to identify clergy and teachers who can transmit their beliefs and values, the same ones that guide their broader service and contribution to the community. After last legislative session, when these changes went through without people understanding, without notice of what the effect was on the religious exemptions in the Minnesota Human Rights Act, the Minnesota faith community discovered that change, that the religious exemption was removed, and they presumed good faith. I heard about it in August of last year when religious leaders, the religious community began going to the department, to the administration, and to legislative leaders in good faith trying to negotiate for a fix. It was only because those efforts were ignored that they sought for us to offer legislation that was brought forward, and it was only because of those negotiations failed that I, co-authored with Peggy Scott, offered House File 3926. It has the maximum number of authors, and I requested a hearing on February 26th. I also offered the same language as an amendment to the department's policy bill, and in the hearing on the department's policy bill, we heard testimony from the faith community about the importance of this issue. But unfortunately, when they did so on February 29th, they were treated very disrespectfully by members of the majority. Among the testifiers was a woman who oversees urban Catholic schools, which primarily serve low-income students in color at the school's expense, the president of the Islamic Center of Minnesota, a school principal who's a leader of a network of 30 Christian schools in our state. They came down here to the Capitol to ask the state of Minnesota to just leave them alone in matters of faith autonomy that are important to them. They were scolded as bigots, no different than slave owners, for the offense of adhering to a belief that almost everyone believed about sexual identity until about 10 years ago. And although the faith community presumed goodwill and we're hoping to consider this broken religious exemption language an oversight, the Judiciary Committee chair emphasized that it was not an oversight to her, implying that the Democrats purposely were setting up traditional faith communities to come under the boot of the state of Minnesota through the Department of Human Rights. And indeed, I know that there is one religious school and organization that's already facing a complaint in the Department of Human Rights because of this change, and there will be others. I understand that it's easy to dismiss the beliefs of others on issues like this as irrelevant or peripheral to their beliefs, but the testifiers in the committee, in both the House and the Senate, explained why these beliefs are central to how they understand the nature and identity of the human person and the nature of God as well. They are part of the architecture of the faith of many Minnesotans. You may not understand or respect them, but they're the cornerstones of belief systems that built the great civilizations of the world. Furthermore, this exemption is clearly consistent with the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and with our state constitution, which exists to protect thought and ideas that the majority does not like. Restoring this exemption will align us with federal law, and it will avoid ensnaring the state in needless litigation. We're not talking about a blanket license to discriminate. We're talking about the ability of faith communities to operate according to their own beliefs within their own institutions in questions of employment, in questions of membership. This exemption existed and worked well for more than 30 years. It still exists in statute in relation to claims for sexual orientation, and all we're asking for is to make sure that claims of gender identity are treated the same as sexual orientation claims. As I'm sure all of you know, this issue is an issue of great concern to the faith community of Minnesota. And that concern is growing. That concern was fueled by what happened in the Judiciary Committee on Leap Day. New organizations and communities are coming forward, standing with the supporters of this bill. This is an issue that unites Catholics and Protestants, Jews and Muslims in the common cause of defending our fundamental American values of free exercise of religion. It's not the faith communities who need to be told to coexist. It's the anti-religious animus of those who would tell the faith communities what they can and cannot do within their own
Point of order, Madam
communities.
Speaker.
When Representative Niska concludes, then I'll proceed to the point of order. Representative Niska, it sounded like you were wrapping up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is urgent that we fix this today. This is a solemn time for the Minnesota faith community. For Christians like myself, this is Holy Week, the final week of Jesus' life leading up to his crucifixion and resurrection. Many Jewish Minnesotans, like Representative Hornstein referenced, just celebrated Purim and are looking forward to Passover, 2 celebrations of their deliverance from bondage and genocide. And Muslim Minnesotans are in the middle of the month of Ramadan, a time of fasting and prayer. We've passed the first and second deadlines. I requested a committee hearing on this. It was not granted. But we've had a hearing where testimony was given on this matter. We don't need to hold on any longer. There's no reason for delay. This is a very simple bill. It just fixes the religious exemption language in Minnesota. So that's the opportunity Minnesota Democrats have today. Will you show that, one, Minnesota includes people of faith, even faiths that you don't agree with? The faith community is watching, and they need to hear from you today. If it was an oversight, let's get it fixed. We lit the board up green 4 times today. Let's light the board up green again and tell the faith community that religious freedom is not a partisan issue. If not, then be clear that the Democratic trifecta has no tolerance for traditional faith. I urge you not to go down that road, though. As I said, the Minnesota faith community is watching. Please vote yes.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Long.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there has been conversation about this in committee. We are still early in session. There is an opportunity for more conversation in committee. That is the appropriate place for this debate to occur. So I move to table the motion to suspend the rules.
Parliamentary inquiry, Madam Speaker.
Representative Dama, please state your parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could you please inform the body what a red and a green vote mean on this roll call, please?
A green vote would concur with the maker of the motion and would table the other motion, and a red vote would disagree and would keep the other motion before us. Representative Damath.
Madam Speaker, I would request a roll call on the motion to table.
Representative Damath requests a roll call on the motion to table. Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. A motion to table is non-debatable. The clerk will take the roll on the motion to table. Will the clerk please call the members who are voting remotely?
Franzen.
Franson votes nay.
Franzen votes no. Knutson.
Knudsen votes no.
Do it again.
Knutson.
Knudsen votes no.
Knutson votes no. Kozlowski.
Kozlowski votes aye.
Kozlowski votes aye. Pawlowski.
Pawlowski, aye.
Pawlowski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 67 ayes and 56 nays, the motion to table prevailed. Representative Long.
Madam Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until noon, Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024.
Representative Long moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until noon on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. Representative Long.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Representative Long moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. The House stands adjourned until noon on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024.